Please don't let me finish this before talking to you about the Bilal Shavkat face-off, because my goodness, that was about as odd as a 15-year-old boy trying to ask a girl to be his girlfriend for the first time. I could not believe what I just saw with these two. What's up, guys? Welcome to a brand new episode of Good Guy, Bad Guy. I'm Daniel Cormier. That is the bad guy, Chael Sonnen. Chael. Okay, so the other day we were in Vegas, and I was like, why do you look so good? You were dressed so nice. I knew your wife was there, but then I find out you're hosting the World MMA Awards, which, by the way, you did an amazing job. But do us the decency, Chael, the decency of giving us a chance. You're up there hosting. Nina Drama just crushes you. I mean, she destroyed us, bro. What is happening?
I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to act in that situation. So I deferred to amateur wrestling and shook hands. I went up, I told her, congratulations, good job. She looked at me, Daniel. She said, thank you. The girls were a lot of help in this. I didn't know she was a parent, but that is what she said to me. So there you go. You learn something new all the time.
Bro, I can't.
I think she even called them twins.
We got. You are the man. You are the man. Hey, we got crushed though. Oh my goodness. Yeah, but you guys did a great job, man. That was a fun show to watch.
Daniel,
ESPN,
you saw Charlie go up there. You saw Charlie go up there in a cowboy hat, correct?
Did you see him? Did you see him?
That wasn't his hat. That somebody was sitting next to him with the hat. He thought he would look cool in it. Told them that. They gave him the hat. I know that's a small detail, but for the ESPN team that travels the roads, man, they're checking into hotels. They're having dinners by themselves down in the lobby. I love that they had that moment, and I love that Charlie had the hat. And by the way, who knew that Jake was a talent, by the way? I thought Jake was supposed to be this big brute football player. All of a sudden, he can cut a promo?
Hey, what's
going on around here?
Can I be honest with you? Jake was there, and I'm not sure I liked it. He's never there. Right? We usually hear him on the Zoom call. All of a sudden, he decides for the first time since 2019, he's going to come on the road. No, man, you better stay.
Daniel, I also got a little nervous about that.
Why is happening here? Like, why are you here? Why are you here? I don't like that. But we were all there for UFC 310. Alexandre Pantoja once again proves he's the best in the world, Chael. He beats Kai Asakura. He looks so fast. Rogan said something on air when he goes, when you watch these little guys, he goes, you almost have to adjust your eyes to try to keep up with the speed at which these men are moving. Dude, Pantoja continues to get better. He beats Asakura. But for me, the biggest story in that was him calling out Demetrious Johnson. What did you make of that?
I loved it. I have never heard Demetrious called out ever where it got a pop, where it got a buzz, where ESPN covered it the following week. I mean, it was an absolute slam dunk. Now, Daniel, I don't want to ruin this for you because it came out last night, and I know you were traveling. Just in case you saw it, Mighty Mouse has responded. Demetrious said no. And it wasn't your no like I'm negotiating publicly. It was a real no. And he went as far as to say this: I am not the best 125-pounder in the world.
No, he didn't.
I'm now retired. But that's a real no. That's a legitimate no. So apparently we're not going to get traction in that direction. But Daniel, can we stay on Pantoja? Because the greats get better. You made 2 Olympic teams at wrestling. You're supposed to grab people and take them down. You won a world heavyweight title with an uppercut. You get stuck with John Jones on your feet. You start trading shots with them all night long. I mean, I'm just sharing. The greats will do something. You go, oh, I didn't know he could do that. I didn't know how much better he was. Pantoja didn't win the Ultimate Fighter, D. And the guy that he lost to did not go on to win the Ultimate Fighter. Pantoja got stomped out by Figueiredo, but he kept his head up. He kept that drive. Daniel, I'm not sure what we have right now isn't the best 25-pounder I've ever seen. I'm not confident if you had a magic wand, you could bring somebody from yesterday. I don't think we've ever seen a guy that could deal with this Pantoja. I
don't know. Like, I mean, Demetrious Johnson would have been the only person that could beat this version of Pantoja. There will come a time in a year or maybe a next title defense or two where he's going to lose, because all champions lose. But what we're looking at right now, if we live in the right now, the guy that we saw Saturday and the guy that we saw last time against Urseg and the guy that we saw against Brandon Royval, which was an amazing performance. He shut him out 50-45 across the board. He's the best. Now, if DJ won't fight him, the biggest problem for me is I don't know who's next. Because when Brandon Royval beats Tatsuro Taira, now he's the number one contender. He's already lost to the champ twice. Pantoja has already beaten Brandon Moreno 3 times. He looked as amazing as anyone in his return fight. Kai France. Like, if DJ's not going to do it, who? Because he's doing something that we don't see. You know what his coach told me the other day? He said, that dude has 10 top 10 wins in his career. 10. He's beaten 10 top 10 guys. Chill. That means that
are we on Pantoja? Are we on Pantoja or Demetrious?
Pantoja.
Wow.
Pantoja has beaten 10 top 10 guys over the course of his run. It's impossible. Like, he's clearing out the division, and he doesn't want to move up. He wants to stay there, and he wants to fight in his division, and I love that. I love that for him. I thought the call-out was an A+. The fact that you told me DJ's not interested really does knock me back, man, because I was hoping DJ would go, you know what, for a cool $3 million, I'll fight this dude, but he said no.
No, he didn't even play with it. It's funny that you mentioned that he didn't talk about wanting to go to 135 because I also appreciated that. He gave major credit for me. When you are the face of a division, you defend your division. You guys might have to fight. You guys might have to be enemies for one night. But until then, you're partners and you're in a classification, right? I mean, I can remember that just in school. You might fight in school or you fight out for a position. But if another school comes in, we're together and it's not even a talk. I love that he defended 125. And by the way, I also would like to elaborate on what you said about who's going to be next, Daniel, because I had one irritation with 125 pounds, which is they all stood back and let Asakura come through. They all agreed. I tip my hat to Asakura because the 25-pounders did. But where are we now? Why is nobody coming after him? You mentioned Kai France. I also mentioned Kai. If this is a job interview, the only guy that showed up is Kai. He is begging to get this opportunity, and I would like to see him get it. I will tell you this, though. There's going to be a little gamesmanship we're going to see over the next week. Just by example, Figueiredo's big. I don't know that he can get back to 25, but I'm going to use him to prove my point, which is we're going to see somebody maybe think about making that pull. We're going to see a 35-pounder maybe thinking about coming down and testing those waters. And if there ever is the time to do it, it's right now.
Yeah, because you got a hot champion, a guy that's willing to take on anybody that's looking for a big-time fight. But, yo, let me ask you this. You know, Kai France wants to fight. Royval wants to fight again. Erceg was doing really well until the 5th round when Pantoja was able to take him down and control him. But who right now in this division do you think can unseat this guy? Because to me, it seems like he continues to kind of spread himself away from the pack.
Sure. No, well, I'm seeing it the same way. And that's what's so impressive for me. I did go back and watch this fight on The Ultimate Fighter, and I was just kind of surprised. I watched this fight with Figueiredo. It wasn't overly competitive, but Daniel, I had to rewind until they put the graphic up of the guy's name. I wasn't convinced it was Pantoja. I'm literally telling you, he is somebody different now. He looks different. He carries himself different. He wilted to Figueiredo. He went forward against Asakura. Asakura threw a head kick. His response was to throw one right back at him. And it made Asakura think, do I really want to do this? He takes Asakura down. Asakura gets up 4 times in the very first round. Most wrestlers are going to get a little frustrated. If the guy keeps springing up, just the cardio, I got to kind of hold the guy down there for a few seconds, re-get my win. Pantoja stayed so disciplined to himself, to his team, to his strategy. I mean, he was such a veteran, not to mention, what was he truly up against mentally? What was he truly up against when the UFC brings in a guy and the UFC's #1 justification publicly is if this guy wins, he will be our new star. If you're Pantoja, you're going, what is going on? What am I doing wrong? What is it that you're even looking to bring in a new guy? And he was able to compartmentalize. He was able to go out there and stay disciplined anyway. Man, he checked a lot of boxes, and he's not going to get credit for that. He's not going to get credit for what he was mentally up against, but he did, and he should.
Yeah, he's good, man. He's the real deal. And he carries that championship confidence about him now. He's not the same guy even from a year ago. You could tell when he walks up those stairs, he knows that he is the baddest dude on that night, and it's showing time and time again. Yes. Another one of the baddest men in the world is Shavkat Rakhmonov.
Yes.
But let's talk a little bit about his opponent, Ian Garry. Ian Garry was supposed to be fighting this weekend against Joaquin Buckley. Ian Garry was tasked with fighting the boogeyman. Shavkat is now 19-0. Ian Garry was the first person to not get finished by Shavkat Rakhmonov inside a UFC fight or in a fight in Shavkat's career. When you look back on this, Chael, did Ian Garry solidify himself as one of the best in the world? Because it's easy when you get a kid like Garry, who seems like he's getting matchups that are favorable to him. This one wasn't. But I thought that Garry had a real strong accounting of himself, and I thought that he gave himself a chance, even in the 5th round. This was not a, yeah, it was a close fight. It was 48-47. But what do you make of even Ian Garry now after watching that?
And Ian Garry trying to finish that fight. Ian Garry knowing that he was behind. Ian Garry on the ground, the one place everybody in the world said he'll never be, and he's in the most dominant position, which is hooks in, and he's got the guy's back, and he's looking for an old basic rear naked. Come on. Daniel, the semifinals turns out to be the best round more times than not. I'm not sure that semifinal in that bracket, when history goes on and we look back on it, we don't look at it and go, my goodness, look at what we got. It wasn't even for an interim title. It wasn't even a main event. That's part of what I love about it. Neither one of these guys blinked. And by the way, that match didn't go any different than those training sessions did. Ian Garry overcame that anyway. And Ian Garry made one argument. You got the best of me when we were teammates, but we're not. You're doing the same thing. You're doing it with the same guys. I don't believe you've evolved. You don't know what I'm doing. I know I've added to my game, so let's go find out. And he really fought that way. His anti-wrestling was on point. You want to deal with a wrestler? Back up. It's the one thing that wrestling makes illegal because it really stops a guy from scoring. That was smart of Ian Garry. The way he used the fence, that was smart of Ian Garry. But him entering the 5-round club, doing 3 things that nobody else has ever done in terms of Rachmanov and finishing the fight and getting all 25 minutes, it was a massive win. I want him to fall forward. I want Ian Garry to fall right into this open spot that we got in England opposite Leon Edwards. I think he should jump on the other side, go right back to another semifinal. And based on how Blal and Rachmanov, because not for nothing, Rachmanov for the first time did look human. I do believe if you're Blal, Mohammed, and you're on the outside, you're watching that. And I do believe your confidence is rising a little bit. I think the odds on that fight, Rachmanov, Mohammed, likely got a little tighter.
Okay, 2 things. 1, please don't let me finish just before talking to you about the Bilal Shavkat face-off, because my goodness, that was about as odd as a 15-year-old boy trying to ask a girl to be his girlfriend for the first time. I could not believe what I just saw with these two. John Anik literally goes, oh, when Bilal tries to jump the rail, there are security stopping him. John goes, security doesn't know he's the champion. I was like, oh my God.
He was trying to help him. He was trying to help him with that. Oh.
I was like,
he outed him. He outed him.
It was weird, bro. And then they're like standing next to each other. There's a translator. It's like, it just was odd. It was a whole bunch of like a square and a circle. It was bad. Back to Ian Garry though. Ian Garry fought much better. I have to critique him in this sense, though, Chael. Round 1 and 2, which is ultimately what the fight came down to, was won by landing 1 shot because he just didn't do enough early. Sometimes, right, I know he had to be safe. I know he had to follow a game plan because Shavkat must have took him down in the training sessions. He didn't hit him. He didn't throw. So Shavkat landed a big right hand in the first round. Bam, won him the round. 1 punch. Second round, Shavkat landed a big right hand. Boom, 1 straight left. Won him the round because Ian just didn't do anything. He didn't put anything on paper. So when he looks at this and he goes back and goes, man, I lost 48-47. And I gave away 2 rounds by literally doing nothing. So he will look back on that and be better for it. But I thought he did a really good job. I thought he showed that he belongs. And I didn't think about this. I love that you said put him in there with Leon Edwards, because that makes sense. There is no reason for him to go backwards after that performance. Because what it showed me last weekend is that if you send him backwards, he's going to beat all those guys. Yeah. He needs to be fighting forward with the best in the world to see if he gets another opportunity. But yes, he did good. I thought he fought well. But Shavkat was hurt, right? Shavkat had an MCL injury. Did you think that played a big part in it? Because he didn't start level changing, Chael, until the 4th round. And when he level changed, he got right through him. Everything before was all takedowns up top. And that's why I think he was hurt. Because if he wasn't hurt, you could see he has the ability to shoot a big power double leg and get you off your feet. How much do you think that injury played a factor?
I wasn't aware of it. I knew his ankle was bugging him about this time last year when he fought Wonder Boy. I wasn't aware of the MCL. It does explain a lot. It does explain where that elevation change wasn't quite there. I'll tell you this about Rakhmonov. He's always through the media, and I've liked the comparison, but been compared to Chimaev. They were both undefeated wrestlers from a different part of the world. They were mysterious. Chimaev left the weight class, so you won't see those headlines anymore, but I liked the comparison. And one thing, Rakhmonov has always, like Chimaev, been very violent, very aggressive and mean. And that's not what we saw. He had to turn into a technician. He had to get very tactical. That fight wasn't the most pleasing in terms of that energy and people jumping out of their feet. But boy, as a chess match, that was as good as we've seen in 2024. I mean, it really was. When Rakhmonov is hitting a spinning wheel kick, when Rakhmonov hits a spinning kick to the body and it lands, he's giving you things to look at. And if you are on the outside like Blahal and you're taking notes, you got to add some things to look for that you didn't know you had to look for. And I think in that regard, Rakhmonov served himself very well.
He did. But I tell you this much. I'll say this right now. Security might not have known that Bilal's the champion. But if Rakhmonov fights like he did Saturday against Belal Muhammad, he's going to get beat. Yep. You're not beating Belal Muhammad with that level of performance. He's got to be that destroyer that he has been on so many different occasions just to have a chance. Because from the Sean Brady fight to the Leon Edwards fight, what we have seen from Belal Muhammad is that he is the best in the world, and he dominated Leon Edwards. It wasn't close. And if you're not prepared, that dude's going to get you. He's going to get you, and he's going to beat you, he's going to wear you down, and he's going to just overwhelm you. So Shavkat will have to be better when he finally does get his opportunity to fight for the championship.
Can I touch on one final thing on this subject? What's the weirdest thing that happened when you were 15 and asked a girl to be your girlfriend? Because I already know what mine is.
Okay, so you just kind of stand there, and your hands are like in your pocket, right? Because you don't know what to do with them. So you're kind of like, I'm kind of like turning sideways, and you don't know if you should give the note, all right? You don't know if that you should ask directly, or if your friend should go do it for you. There are like a number of different things as to how you try to do it. And sometimes you just go up and you ask, and when you do and they say no, that's the most hurtful, weirdest thing. But it was like Belal. Now, what Belal and Shavkat did, Chael, was like my first kiss. Whenever me and the girl went to kiss, come together, and I headbutted her. And that's what that felt like I was watching.
I fully understand with you. And I feel like that answer that I just asked you is very much geographical, like one high school to another. In our high school, for whatever reason, it was called Go With Me. Hey, are you going together? Are we going? Are we guys?
Yeah.
I hit it on a girl. She knew it was coming. I did the whole childish thing where I had my friends vet this. Everything was set. We knew we were going to be together. I hit it with me, and she stood up. I mean, she must have practiced this in the mirror. And she said, "Where are we going?" And I just sat back down, and I just said, well, we're headed there now. And I don't know if I ever spoke to that girl again. Lori pulled that on, and Lori knew it was coming. Her mother was a substitute teacher, so that I got to see the whole family. Yeah, she got me on that. Where are we going? We're going nowhere now, Miss Lori.
You had no answer.
I'm going home to cry is where I'm going. I don't know what your day looks like.
That's bad. It's so bad, rejection. Now you don't have to deal with rejection anymore because people just meet each other on the internet. You don't even have to go up to the person.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine living through the swipe era?
No. Never.
I only missed it by a couple of years, by the way. And my friend was doing it on an airplane, and he was telling me it's called shopping, and he could even lower this proximity to the airplane, which he did. There was nobody else on the plane, but he could. You could do a proximity issue. It is fascinating, DC.
I would watch my team literally do this. I was like, wow, your fingers are very fast when you swipe. Like, you know, that's the worst thing about finding a date. Sure. You had to go ask the girl to date you. It was crazy. But now that's all done with. So, Chael, back on topic, because at times, you know, there was some concern when we started doing this show that you and I would sometimes trail off, right? Like a butterfly might pass and we flutter and we follow it. That is exactly what just happened. Let's get back on topic now. So, Nate Diaz is there with Kron Gracie last weekend. Islam Makhachev's team is there because at a press conference. Those guys can't stand each other. Every time they come together, there seems to be an issue. Last weekend, a video surfaces of Nate Diaz and Team Makhachev throwing bottles at each other backstage before the weigh-ins. I mean, Nate Diaz doesn't even fight in the UFC anymore. What's happening here?
Yeah, very interesting. I did not understand that he was there with Kron. That actually was a clue for me. So, Daniel, that video is going around. I get sent it. I watch it. I'm familiar with it. That was like a couple of years ago, and it was with Chimaev, and they were backstage.
Yeah.
I didn't realize this was brand new, and it
That
wasn't
was
with
Friday.
Chimaev. It was with a different group of Dagestanis, and the intended target was Islam. I didn't understand that. Because I thought the same thing as you. What would Nate be doing here? Nate's not with the UFC anymore. And I don't know what their beef is, but they do want to fight each other, which is a little bit of a problem in one regard. Islam's a 155-pounder. Nate is no longer a 55-pounder. But, I mean, there's things you can work through. It just seems like everyone likes Islam and everyone likes Nate. So when you get these two guys that everyone else likes, why don't they like each other? I would really like to know the backstory on this.
I just think that they just think so differently, right? Like with the Russians, right? They don't smoke, they don't drink. They think all these things are just so bad behavior. Diaz is just openly like who he is, which is why people love him. I worry, right, about people like Nate usually has an entourage. Islam usually has an entourage. That's the only thing that concerns me. But what I did like to see, though, honestly, because there has been this idea that Nate Diaz acts that way when he has an entourage. He was by himself. He was by himself, dude. That is Nate Diaz. He don't care. He doesn't care. I buy it now. I believe it. I didn't know. I didn't know if it was all for show. That was him by himself with all those Russian dudes there. And if they would all got to him, they would have jumped him. But he don't care. Nate Diaz still threw that water bottle. It's always interesting. I just prefer an interesting rival when I can see some payoff. There's just no payoff to this. Like, what are we building the story for when we don't get the conclusion?
And that's the thing they don't generally do. If you go look at Diaz brother Heat, there generally is an answer. There's something trying to be obtained, whether it's a bout agreement, something along these lines, get an edge over an opponent that's already signed. That was a lot of where I didn't get that either and was pretty curious. I don't know that Nate really tried to hit him with the water bottle as much as he was letting him know, I will hit you with a bottle if you get too close. Daniel, there was another one that went down, which was Pereira and Jamahal over at the PI. And Pereira had enough where Pereira took glove and threw him to him like, hey, if we're going to do this, get in the ring. That way I believe it'll be legal. I mean, I think he was that premeditated with it. That was a legit tough guy thing to do. I asked Pereira. I've never met him before. I ended up meeting him at the MMA Awards. I said, what happened? And I said, was that for the cameras? And he said, not on my end, but I think it was for Jamahal. He said Jamahal had the cameras and came up just to do that. So I think maybe he was performing. He said, but I wasn't sure, which is why I thought, let's just get in the ring. I'll check your temperament there, but we can't do it out here with no gloves on. That was just his take on it. I thought I'd bring you up to speed.
Yeah, so we're jumping around topics here. So the Pereira thing, right, and Jamahal Hill, it was kind of weird, man, because you know Pereira's crazy. He's crazy, bro. So he's so crazy. He's sitting at the table the other day. He looks across through the cage. We make eye contact, and you know what he says to me?
What?
Chama.
Yeah, I should have guessed.
He mouths Shama to me. Yeah. And I'm like, I start fumbling over my words because he's crazy. The dude's crazy. Jamahal walks up, and Jamahal is essentially ready to fight him, but not ready to fight him for free. But I'm telling you one thing, right? When you approach a guy like that, Pereira, and you're Jamahal Hill, who I know for a fact isn't afraid of a fight, you got to recognize that might happen. Because at the end of the day, it comes off bad on Jamahal because he didn't accept the gloves. Sure. Right? You were in there to spar, but he didn't take the gloves. I get it. I'm not here to fight for free, but let's get a training session out of it. Maybe something will come to light that I could use the next time we fight. But I'm gonna tell you, I would have only done that if I was prepared to accept those gloves. But do you really want to spar with him? Did you see him sparring this Japanese dude or this Korean dude?
Yes.
He was over there. That's not sparring, dude.
Sure.
That is him trying to take off the guy's a professional boxer. Him and Pereira are killing each other. inside the ring. So, yes, it came a little, I get what Jamahal was doing. I just wish he would have been more open to going, okay, I'm going to take these gloves and we're going to go do our thing. Because Pereira sure was ready to go in there and fight him.
Pereira does not take an easy path, and I will tell you, as far as assignments, neither does Jamahal. Jamal's getting ready to take on Prohaska, a world champion versus a world champion, even if they're a year removed. I mean, I'm just sharing, like, he's got the hardest bouts, and he's so confident in himself that he's already going after Pereira. I mean, Jamal's already looking to, when I get through Prohaska, I want a rematch for the world title. There's something about it that I am attracted to. There's something about where I really appreciate about Jamahal, that he's willing to take the hard path, but yeah, there's no reason to go spar with a guy that you don't trust. There's no reason to go fight a guy you aren't signed to fight. It was a piece of entertainment, and for that, I appreciated it.
Yeah, for sure. But it was entertainment. That's what it was. And it got a lot of traction, and that's essentially building hype for the next fight. And we all have to remember, Pereira has beaten everybody, but Jamahal did come back from that Achilles injury during the first fight. Maybe that's why he feels so confident if he can get a rematch. Chael, you know who else has got a temper? Jamahal Hill's got a temper. Pereira's clearly got a temper. Merab Dvalishvili, bro. Merab, bro, he's so crazy. Merab is so crazy, dog. I love Merab.
I didn't know this about Merab. I didn't know he's cute and he wears the suit and he does the little dance. I didn't know, man, this guy was a street guy.
He's so mean, bro. He's so mean. You remember when he jumped in the stands at a grappling event and grabbed the guy by his hair?
Yes.
He goes, stop now. Merab's like, stop now. The guy's like, please. Dude, what's up with these guys like, though? Georgian, Armenian, Russian. Hey, Arman Tsarukyan hit a guy walking to the octagon. Merab Dvalishvili last weekend got another dude walking away from the octagon with Aljamain Sterling. Hey, what's up with Merab's temper, man?
Arman's suspension just ended. He wasn't going to be able to go to his own press conference because the UFC will not have you around for whatever reason. But if you're in the principal's office, you're not coming around. His suspension just ended. Daniel, I don't know, but you want to know something? They're breaking the deal. They're breaking the deal. When the audience pays a ticket and they come in, the audience has the right to heckle you. They can't touch you, but that's all.
Well, the guy grabbed Merab. The guy did grab Merab. The guy did grab Merab's arm.
Oh, he went first. All right. Well, if the guy went first.
Arm, yeah. He grabbed
but I'm
Merab's arm.
just sharing, man. You just can't get your feelings hurt over it. It's what the fan does. Go out there, you do something he likes, he'll cheer for you the next day. I mean, it's a pretty fickle audience, but it's still the deal. They've been drinking, they're having a good time. They had to save up to have the money to come to this event. You got to let the guy get his energy out. Some's positive, some negative. There's not three options. There's just two. There's positive and there's negative when it comes to that energy. I don't like that the guys are touching him, quite frankly. The guys are completely wrong.
They can't be hitting them. You can't hit a fan. Like, I'll be honest with you, you just cannot hit a fan. So then Dennis Bazooka, actually, who also fights in the UFC, hits the guy after the security takes Merab. Because, dude, these fighters, there's a little something wrong with all of us, Chael. I mean, we fight for a living. Let's call it what it is.
Something happened. Sure. Something happened along the way.
Different, right? You and I can sit up here and do this. We also were able to walk into an octagon and fight. Just like Pantoja said the other day. He goes, these guys think I come to fight them. He goes, I do. He goes, I want to kill them. He said he wants to kill them. I mean, but that's the mentality every time you walk in there. So you're a little different. But you can't hit the fans. You just can't hit the fans. You got to find a way to be above it. Basketball players don't hit fans because they're not like fighters. Fighters are wired differently. They can handle it better because they aren't trained to go and hit someone. But you guys gotta stop. You gotta stop hitting the fans, man.
Daniel, when you had yours, which ended up being Jake Paul, how far were you willing to take that, by the way? Because you did look legitimately like you had lost your cool. How far were you willing to go with that exchange with you and Jake Paul?
So, I mean, as far as we needed to.
Yep.
I didn't imagine that we would have to, though. Because, he's not a fan, though. He's a fighter. But as far as I needed to, but I didn't imagine I would have to go much further because I know who I was dealing with.
What was it that he did that upset you so much, by the way?
This dude was on me for a while, man. He just kept messing with me, talking like he was gonna fight me. And I was like, yo, I don't fight anymore. But I don't like to play little boy games. I'm not like that. Like, I'm not a social media guy that talks and talks and talks. If we're going to talk, then when I see you, you're going to have to answer for all the words that you're talking to me. Because that's what it was. And then, dude, I was working, and he's behind me making faces at me. It's like the nanny boomy. And I was like, yo, what? I was like, I am a grown man, dude. Stop playing with me. Like, stop playing with me. It was the craziest experience of my life, Chael. I look behind me, and the dude's making faces at me. So I just get up from the table, and I walk over there, and like, yo, chill out, dude. Like, I'm not playing with you. I will slap you. But, yes, you cannot hit the fan zone. But he's not a fan. He's just like he's a disruptor. And he's really good at being a disruptor. But yes, Merab, stop beating fans, man. Merab, please stop beating fans. And all
Dana White said he's like my little Sean Strickland without the mouth, which I think might have been a compliment to Sean. I think Dana might have been, but at least Sean can cut a promo. I might have that wrong, but it was what Dana said. He's like my little Sean Strickland without the mouth, and that is almost poetry open for interpretation right there.
How about Dana? Like, he's not that hard on these guys. He's not like getting after them like you guys are bugging out, man. Maybe privately he is. But publicly, he kind of was like smirking, like, yeah, Merab's crazy, man. I don't know what to do with this guy. Well, speaking of Sean Strickland, Chael, he gets his rematch against Dricus du Plessis at UFC 312. Excitement level for this rematch, as the first fight was really close. Sean Strickland believed that he had done enough to get the victory.
I think I was happy. I think there was a level of relief. That's for a personal relationship with Sean Strickland, but he had been given this opportunity. He thought that he earned it when he got through Costa, but that Costa fight was about 6 months ago. All of a sudden, we start hearing from Chimaev. There's a little bit of boil over. It's pretty clear that Chimaev's next fight will be for the world title. But does that mean the next time there's a world title fight, it's going to involve Chimaev? Yeah. Apparently not. So I was relieved, and that's the fight, quite frankly. Now, Dricus du Plessis, if there has ever been a guy that turns out to be one heck of a lot better than I knew he was, it's Dricus du Plessis. The other side of that coin, Sean Strickland has talked himself very much and has a high level of confidence because he believes he beat him the first time. He believes he dominated him. That's not what I saw, Daniel. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure Sean didn't lose all 5 rounds on my scorecard. Yeah, very close. Yeah, real tight. But at the end of it, if you got to go at 10-9, I'm not sure I didn't give him all the Dricus. And the only reason I'm saying that is I don't want Sean to necessarily fall for what he's believing. I want him to study this guy. I want him to have a different game for this guy. I want him to really take Dricus serious. And I do believe Sean Strickland, when he was the champion of the world, did not care, or at least that's what he was saying. The moment he lost that belt, boy, that care meter went through the roof. And I do believe Sean is going to fight better, trying to regain something than to defend something. That's my own belief, but that's the fight to make. Winner draws in Chimaev. I can drink to that.
I like this one. I was happy with the rematch just because we still don't know Chimaev and like when he can fight. Remember, there was just some visa issues. He can't fight here, all this other stuff. We still don't know all that, so it's hard for him to be fighting for the belt when he may have to only fight internationally. That would kind of suck, being that he's so exciting. But for Sean Strickland, it's good, right? He stood, I've seen now 2 times, him and Stipe Miocic, that both said, we deserve title fights, and it worked out for them. It doesn't always happen that way. But Sean Strickland said, I'm fighting for the belt after I beat Costa. I've earned this. I deserve it. I won the first fight. It worked out. Happy for Sean Strickland. I know that it's a massive challenge because the first fight was so close. And it's hard because the way du Plessis fights, you're watching it, and hats off to every judge that judges Dricus' fights, because they must be so good at seeing all the little things in between that the general eye will miss. Like when they come together, Dricus might throw an elbow or something because he doesn't do what normal people do. So he's landing in random spots, right? The judges see that. They score rounds for him. That's why he wins a lot of these close fights. Yeah. He's a good fighter, man. He's a really good fighter, and it's time for us to respect him for what he did. Sean Strickland will make him fight, so I think it's going to be fun. The co-main event will be Zhang Weili taking on Tatiana Suarez. It seems like we have been waiting for Suarez to get this title fight, Chael, for years.
Yes. She's the right girl, Daniel. She has been steamrolling through the competition. She's never lost. She's never even been in a close fight. I mean, I'd have to check it, but she hasn't even gone to a decision very much. This girl is the real deal. You want to know what her strategy is? Grab that person, throw him down, and beat him up. It is as simple as that. And as good as Weili is, I'm not sure Tatiana can't grab her, throw her down, and beat her up. I really mean that. I think if there's the clearest number one contender the UFC has right now is Tatiana Suarez. So the fact that that fight is finally happening, man, I'm all for it. I had Tatiana as my female fighter of the year 2 years ago. I had her again an earlier time in her career. It might have even been last year. I'm just sharing. She's been setting the world on fire for a meaningful amount of time. She had injuries, some real serious, with her neck. She's engaged with a gentleman in the PFL who's publicly saying, hey, I can't get fights, so I like it for the whole family, just by example. Now they got something to drive and work towards. Everything seemed to work out in that one, and it's about time Tatiana gets her due.
So I'm looking at Tatiana Suarez's Wikipedia right now. Her last fight was against Jessica Andrade. It was not close. She submitted her in the second round, guillotine choke, but she's able to dominate girls in a way that we haven't seen for a long time. One problem is that she has been hurt, right? Some serious injuries. So it feels like it slowed down her ascent. But now I believe that it works even better, Chael, because she gets a true champion and a person that truly shows that she is the best in the world in Zhang Weili. And if there's anyone that is going to challenge Tatiana in all of her wrestling, in all of her physical ability, and all of her elite gifts, it's going to be Zhang Weili. Yeah. This is one of those fights that a champion doesn't seem like she's far ahead of the challenger in Tatiana Suarez. I'm excited about that one. I think it's going to be phenomenal, and I cannot wait. Chael, it's time to wrap the show. Hey, did you see me singing the other day?
No.
Here, let me play this for you, Chael. I'm going to put my phone right here. Dude, I am. Brendan Fitzgerald, by the way, is a tremendous piano player. He comes to the weigh-in show every year. Listen, can you hear this?
No.
Listen. Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining.
That's beautiful.
It's
voice of an angel, Daniel.
Hey. Okay, Chael. So they're going to, I don't know if you can hear it as well as I want you, but they're going to play it. But Chael, it was, hey, you have your phone right now?
Yeah.
Grab your phone, open my Instagram. I want you to see this. You have to see this. Open my Instagram, Chael.
All right.
Go down, 3 posts. It is.
And are you DC-MMA?
DC_MMA. All right, _MMA.
I got you.
Go down to, you see it's the 4th post with the piano. You see it?
Yep.
Go ahead and turn that on right now. Let me hear that beautiful music.
Is that Brendan playing?
Oh, he's amazing.
Wow.
He's amazing.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Chael, that is good.
That's a great performance. When you don't know how to sing, just go that direction with it, right? If you're going to get let them know you're a part of it, man. I think you did a great job there.
Thank you. And guys, catch me at your local bar every Saturday night. I will be up there performing up until Christmas Eve, and then I'm out. Guys, that's another episode of Good Guy, Bad Guy. For Chael Sonnen, I'm Daniel Cormier. Until next time, peace. Yeah, I mean, come on, man. What a singer.